Fisherman in the deep blue sea, yeah. Working hard for the family.
Fisherman Islands. This is a Fisherman Islands. And the family depends of the fruit the ocean gives. This is a Fisherman Islands. This is a Fisherman Islands.
On crab, kitri, bread or ski, and the beautiful war sea is a Fisherman Islands. Is a Fisherman Islands. I am a fisherman. With you all this is high man. Fisherman Islands. Oh yes, it's a Fisherman Islands. Fisherman, Galadale. Fisherman, all big brown. Fisherman, big maggot. Fisherman, all white. Fisherman, barracuda. Fisherman, big brim. Fisherman, yellow eyes. Fisherman, black arm. Fisherman, red eyes. Fisherman, Fisherman, big chat pole. Fisherman, bear chub. Fisherman, old front. Fisherman, gaddy. Fisherman, bobo tiburón. Fisherman, siete. Fisherman Island.
Old Providence is a beautiful island located in northwestern Colombia in the Caribbean Sea. And together with San Andres, Catalina and other islets, form the archipelago department of San Andres, Providence and Catalina. The islands have a population of approximately 5,140 inhabitants. One of the most traditional activities on Old Providence and Catalina is artisanal fishing. Many men and women on the island dedicate themselves to this activity, which provides sustenance for them and their families. The most popular technique used is the fishing line, but diving and the use of fish pots are also common. The coral reef of Old Providence and Catalina is the largest in the Caribbean and the third largest in the world after those of Australia and Belize.
Fisherman in the deep blue sea, yeah.
Harvey Robinson Howard. Harvey was born on the 22nd of July 1964 in Providence. His parents were Limborg Robinson and Evelia Howard. His home is in the district of Mountain. After attending the Hunin Primary School, he went to Medellin to study at the Ecolvin Adventist Institution. As a fisherman, he's committed to protect the island's marine species. He also participates in organizations such as the United Nations. He's a former member of the board of directors of the Fishing and Farming Cooperative in Providence. Harvey has 4 children, Kayla, Joshua, Crystal and Kate, and his partner in life is Giovanna Peñalosa Newball. As well as teaching the new generation the art of fishing, he occasionally does construction work to contribute to the community's development.
Fisherman Islands. This is the Fisherman Islands.
On crab, kitri, bread or ski, and the beautiful war sea is the Fisherman Islands. Fisherman, Galathiel, Fisherman, Old Big Ground, Fisherman, Big Market, Fisherman, All White, Fisherman, Barracuda.
When I small, I start to fishing. Even when time my little in coming up, we used to go down a bit. Thief we go down a bit go fishing sometime. And apart from that, well, we always used to go by group too, and they who come for laugh swim. And from 12 years go up, well, I start to dive, start to shoot fish, and well, them time we used to shoot crawfish also too. Well, I never see seasick. I born to be a seaman. I never see seasick. I used to go see from my young with my beho, Mr. Buggy. We used to go in a cat boat. In the morning early, we used to put up for we sail. A sail go with a white water, second white water, pint of reef, wherever we go. And my beho, that time we never used to know if he dive so good. So my beho is who used to dive the conchs. He used to go with for him water glass and look on the conchs. And then jump over right there without mascara and not dive the conchs because with so much conchs them time we not had no problem for that. The conchs we used to use for bait. And by 12 o'clock we just showed for a Fisherman. Well, then the time when we used to go and we had so cat boat. Maybe you had 2 or 3 persons had lunch no more. You had Mr. Landell had lunch and you had Mr. Juan Garcia had lunch. It was just cat boat no more. And everybody used to sail, go fishing, and whenever you have good weather, you used to sail. When you don't have good weather, and say left calm weather, you used to pull. And you don't have to go forward. You go close right boat here. You catch product because you have plenty of product. You had plenty of hardfish. You had rockfish. You had grouper. You had all kind of fishing and then kind of because you had lesser people used to fishing. Well, I learned to fishing with line, with water glass with them. I learned to dive. I learned to swim. All them things I learned from them. And I had old people that used to fishing with. I used to fishing. Well, people still exist. My beho, starting from my beho. And after I used to go with Francisco, them I used to go with Dalhits. I used to go with Ambrosio. I used to go with several people. And in the meantime, one time I used to go with them, sometimes I just used to swim over no more. Because what happened, then time was deep water. When you say 8 for them, 9 for me, so you deep water. What did they do? That's why I wash my face, you know. Yeah, we used to build a cat boat up here. Have several people used to build cat boat. For example, our cat boat was my grandfather, Nichman, was who built that. You had Mr. Son O'Neill used to build boat. You had Jack who used to build lunch, for example. You had Mr. Pat used to build cat boat. You had several people used to build cat boat. But them wasn't cat boat for race. Them was cat boat special for work, for fishing, you know. Well, I want to tell you something. Sea is you can say, the 75% of my life because I like it, I grew up in it, and every day I love it more and more. Well, for anxious time, we used to go early go fishing. Well, when you go and go fishing with line, for example, in the meantime, you used to have to go catch a crab for in the night, and you prepare up your water glass, you prepare up your line, and you hook them, and you'll seal and everything that you want to carry with you. And you go fishing, and when you get to fishing ground, well, you beat up, you bait them, your crab, and you dash them overboard and send up, and sometimes, well, you used to carry soldier with you because that way had fish used to like take, you know. But normally when you get out, you used to dive with conchs because you know sure so when dive find your conchs because you could have find conchs easy them at time. And anyway, about 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, you got no fish, you come back home. You scrape the first one, them, and you can send home for make the start to make the stew boil out the run down till winter, you don't clean the rest of fish. And when you get home, your food ready. Food ready, warm to eat. Well, I want to give a little explanation here. Why the resources then going down? Because every day we have more demand for it. And apart from that, we have people, more divers. And we have people what making diving with tank. We have the resources them have more pressure on them. And apart from that, fish pot come in first time. I used to have fish pot come in and fish pot pick up everything. And sometimes even the fish pot, small fish will catch in a fish pot, dash it to him and I come and eat it. So that's why we have too much pressure on top of the resources. What is the recommendation? The recommendation is to say, for example, we have species where you have fish, you have grouper, you have rockfish. Them species you hardly see them now for purpose. You see them very less. Well, you have the entities them that put close season on it, but it's not sufficient. We have to have control over it. And the message to the young people, let me say, that we have to protect it.
Fisherman in the deep blue sea, yeah. Working hard for the family. Fisherman like country, fisherman like Joe, fisherman like Lucio, fisherman like Ali, in the deep blue sea, working hard I say, for the family, for the family. For the family, 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 family.
Well, for anxious time, fisherman never yet just so fishing. Whether you say you're a fisherman or you're 100% fisherman, but all the time you have something else to do. You have your ground because well, you can't eat so fish. You understand? You have to, if you make a rundown, you have to have something to put in a pot along with the rundown. You have to have your yuca, you have to have your yam, you have to have your other things them that is as soon as them when you put in it. And for that, well, you can sell fish and buy that too. But what the people in Fanchester used to do, they have them grown and they plant their own provision. And nowadays, everybody else, apart from fishing, have something else to do. Because what happened? We have some time, as how you said before, when the breeze come in, you can't get to the fishing ground. So you dedicate to some time for something else. Whether you have many of them that work mason, carpenter, some chop machete, some have their own ground. You have different things that you have. Even some of them is business. Business are buy crawfish, buy fish, or have a liquor shop or something.
Fisherman Islands. This is the Fisherman Islands.
On crab keep free breeder ski, and the beautiful war sea is the Fisherman Islands. Fisherman, Galathiel, Fisherman, all big ground, Fisherman, big market, Fisherman, all waves, Fisherman, Barracuda.
Seagrass beds are formed by plants that live under the water and need sunlight to convert carbon dioxide into food and energy. They live in shallow, clear waters, mostly along the coast. This ecosystem is an important habitat and refuge for several species of fish and invertebrates that move to the coral reefs as they grow. Also, they are important feeding grounds for herbivorous fish, turtles, rays, and conch. Seagrass also improves water quality and clarity by trapping sediments suspended within the water column, minimizing the effect of erosion and preventing these particles from reaching the coral reefs. Seagrass beds represent only 5.73% of the marine ecosystem around Providence and Catalina, but they are vital to guarantee connectivity with the mangroves and corals so that the marine life can continue and have protection and food during the different phases of their existence. The conservation of seagrass beds is extremely important for the islands, as the local economy depends on fishing and tourism. Our actions on land impact the quality and availability of our marine resources. So let's begin to change our actions now to ensure our future survival.
Well, first place is prohibited to catch hawksbill because that is closed. Shea water and them thing them was like a hobby what we had to do them a thing. You understand? When Good Friday used to go crab key and you look at shea water and things like that. But right now we have a problem. What is it? Is that the hawksbill them and the turtle them and the species they disappear around here. So what happened? They have a closed season for it. That's why the people doesn't do it. They really do it same way, but underground and hide they do it, because you have plenty many people like eat the haxbill meat. Although other places have a farm that they farm the haxbill and them farm it for eat, but around here we have to respect it. First time we never used to go outside the reef at all because it wasn't necessary. Right inside the reef you could catch sufficient fish. You used to go white water, used to go white water, blue, used to go second white water, used to go Pinter Reef, used to go Cable Rock, used to go Taylor Reef, used to go Rocky Key. Anywhere about close by, right? Mobar used to go, and you have sufficient crawfish, 8, 9, 10 crawfish. Even in the evening when you come for fishing, when you come from school, we used to go fishing out there 2 o'clock, and by 4 or 5 o'clock come back me a Hiro, put up sail and go right around Longshore right out here, and it was sufficient because you have plenty of resources and right close. Well, say gain more money in a sea, I wouldn't say, well, gain more money. What is very important is that when time the close season for the crawfish, you find something for the fisherman them do. Because it was 3 months and now it's 4 months. So you have, I feel like one of the things that you can think about when time the close season is find another option for the fisherman them, so they do have to hide out and go and catch a crawfish in the close season. For example, you could think about work and you could say, well, some of the companies think sometime about clean the beach, clean the mangroves, and you have other things that you can do. For example, you have fisherman divers, for example, what is professional also, and they can give classes about sea, they can give classes about to take photograph and a sea bottom. There's several things to do. But it's things that we have to program from before. We can't wait until when it's the moment we say, better come in and we strive to do something. You have to be something that programmed from before. So when time the close season comes, that is ready for the people to start to work. First time, the alternative was to fishing. Because we couldn't afford to send you treatment. For example, my father couldn't afford me to send me to university. I had to work before I got university to pay my university. But they have other alternative now because you have other way to go and fishing. You have free education, for example, Alcaldía, the patrocinar for university. You have Prestamo, you have several ways to go and study now. Why they may say they don't want for them children come to that? Because what happened? No fishing is not like first time. Fishing now things plenty tighter, things plenty harder. And it's not the way if you say easy way to survive. We first survive them time, and even now they survive. Because what happened? With the time coming up, we come to be a professional in fishing. So we have more idea where to go and where to find the production. But these young youth now, we're coming up now, it's going to be very hard for. I don't want my children to be fishermen either. It could be alternative to say you teach them to go because it's a culture. If you go and fishing, a land to swim, a land to hang a lunch, a land to make a boat, a land to sail, a land to haul a line. Because today tomorrow, you don't know what happen. Maybe it's a professional, you don't get a job. But normally we used to go fishing Saturday all the time. Saturday for what? We have our fish home to eat, so we do have to bite. Well, I will answer you in a parallel way. If you have a big ground and you have planted in your big ground and you make plenty production, whenever they cut off, let's say they take half of your ground, the production will be lesser. Okay, so what happened out there? Out there is that they take part of we see the amount of kilometer, amount of miles sea what they take off away. For example, Luna Verde, we just used to catch a Morris crawfish and then take with that. So if the production is lesser. So if the production is lesser, they harm you because your production lesser, that means that your economy going to be lesser. Well, I had passed through a lot of fisherman hand. The first one, as I tell you before, is my Beho. My Beho fisherman used to fish in line. Him I used to dive, used to fish in line. Afterward, we come up and we used to be the one dive, and him used to keep up the boat with the oar. I think that afterward, I used to fish with several people. I had Francisco Garcia, I had Ambrosio Garcia, I had Glassford Howard, I had plenty of people I used to fish in Dalhis. I used to fish with Dalhis. Even Mr. Fernando Robinson, he died also. I used to fish with line him, and him used to dive with Kongs. Afterward, I used to dive with Kongs. Several people I used to fish in. Up to today, I have several youth that I fishing with that I teach also. That's the same thing the other of them used to do with me. Well, I try to pass it to the youth now. Well, during all these years of fishing, I had a lot of experience. Both it can be positive and can be negative. Once, when I was small, coming up, my grandfather buy a rubber gun for me, and he tell me, "My son, I want to buy this rubber gun for you, but remember, say that you do to go and fishing on Sunday. You have to respect Sunday." And with Irving and Hiro, we gone, and when you come with thief the rubber gun, I go fishing on Sunday, and one of my cousin Irvin get shot in the hand with the rubber gun. Well, thank God it wasn't so dangerous. Dr. Ralph was here in Providence, and he get tend to the right way. Other one was well, many of them was what we have was we say find up, get up together, and meet up with shark. Plenty time when you shoot fish, anything happen with shark, you find barra. And many times we have to jump in the launch or in the boat because shark attack you when you shoot fish. Well, them and next thing, shark thing will happen too. Well, 2 different times when I was diving, they come left me out there and I had to swim come shore. Well, I always said don't stop fishing. We have to keep on fishing because fish is something very, very good for us. And apart from that, the message that I want to give the young youth out there is that we have to protect. We have to protect our resources so the day of tomorrow, our grandparents can still know what is a hagfish or know what is a rockfish. And for us to protect it, we have to be conscious of what's happening to the day so we can protect it the right way.
Fisherman in the deep blue sea, yeah. Working hard for the family. Fisherman like country. Fisherman like Joe. Fisherman like Lucio. Fisherman like Ali. In that deep blue sea, working hard I say, for the family, for the family, for the family, 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 for the family, 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 family. For the family, 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 family. Is the fisherman Oja? Is the fisherman Herai? Is the fisherman Oja? Is the fisherman Herai? Oh na 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 na. 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 Fisherman like Alinja. Fisherman like Bumpy. Fisherman like Big Jack. Fisherman like Jimbo. In the deep blue sea, working hard I say, for the family, for the family, for the family, 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 family. For the family, family, family.